and he gives a goat as a gift. And Aisha radiallahu anha finished the salah and she said, "Oh Barira, who is it?" And she said, "It was a man who lives in the area. By Allah, he has never ever given us anything before, but today he bought us a goat." And Aisha radiallahu anha said, "Oh Barira, isn't that goat better than the handful of wheat that you had?" And then she said something which really signifies the iman of these people. She said,
it right here on Guidus TV. You don't want to miss that, because we have a first prize of $1,000, and the next entries that are chosen will all win $100. But that's not the best part. The best part is we have judges who are willing to help us do better the next time. Yeah. And everybody who signed up and everybody who put their video up there for us to judge, yeah, guess what? They're all going to get a beautiful prize. MashaAllah. We have gifts for every single one of all of you. So stay tuned, stay guided with Guidus TV. And we're coming to you almost live all the way from our studios here in Southern California. That's right, we're in Southern Cali, and we've got a program for you tonight. Guess what? We have Richard Kiefer with us, the former Baptist minister. He'll be with us tonight. And we have Kim, Sister Kim, and she'll be with us tonight. But first and foremost, let's find out something about our program and what is going on with the contest, all right? The contest. All the kiddos worried about what happened. They finished the judging today. They're sending me. I'm going to make all the announcements this week, starting tomorrow. I want you to share this right now. Starting tomorrow, we're going to start with the first of the many of those who participated, uploaded their videos, and winning, or actually getting gifts from us. It's not really that kind of contest. It's not like you pay money to kind of do something. No, it's all free. No advertising, no spamming, scamming, or anything else. I want to be sure we always mention that for everybody. Pay close attention. Okay, let's bring in our first and foremost guest. We have with us Richard Kiefer. Assalamu alaikum, Richard.
Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Brother Yusuf. Greetings from Michigan.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
you're a Michigander.
Yeah, well, not natively. I'm an adopted. I was born and raised in the great state of Maryland.
Maryland. Why would anybody
land.
leave a place that is so merry that they call it Maryland?
I don't know. It just felt good to come out here and go to college. And so we moved out to Michigan and never left. So, but we like it here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Behind me, I have something in the Arabic language. I'd like to tell everybody about that. Let me just move myself over just a tiny bit. And when I do that, I think we'll be able to... Let me see if I can do that. Yeah. All right. So this in Arabic language says La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. Yeah. That means there is no God to worship except the one and only God, Allah. And Muhammad is his final messenger. But by no means is he the only messenger. Okay? So I want to let everybody know what we're talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about God, why he created everything, and why we're here, and how we can guarantee a spot, and a good spot in the next life. Oh yeah, and there is another life right after this one. Oh yeah. All right. Now, to help us put everything in perspective and make sure that we have the woman's voice as well. We have Sister Kim. Sister Kim, Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
MashaAllah, how are you, sister?
I'm doing very well, alhamdulillah. How are you?
Well, we're just doing fine, sister. We're happy to have you with us today, too.
Oh, thank you so much.
Tell us a little bit about where you are. We know you're in Arizona, but tell us about what's going on out there and what's happening.
Well, I'm in Yuma, Arizona, and you mentioned that Richard is a Michigander. Excuse me, that came by surprise. Richard is a Michigander, and they call us humans.
Wait a minute. Wait. They call you humans?
No, humans. Y-U-M-A-N-S.
Humans.
Humans!
They don't call you human?
That sounds weird. A human?
Yeah, I thought that was cute, that they call us humans. But Yuma is very quiet right now. We're waiting for the storm to hit in a couple of months when all the snowbirds, they call them, come flocking down here out of the northern reaches.
Oh, so you're going to have a flock of birds coming down? That's very nice.
Well, we're going to have a flock of seniors coming down in their RVs.
I didn't know there was a bird called a senior.
They're very intelligent birds.
Oh.
They do tend to talk a lot about the past.
Talking birds? Oh my goodness gracious. That sounds very interesting. A talking bird. Mm-hmm. And they're called...
Have you seen the parrot that can recite Surah Al-Fatiha?
Is there really such a thing as a parrot that can recite Surah Al-Fatiha?
Yes, there is. I'll try to find it for you, and I'll send you a link.
Well, maybe we can find it. What do you think?
You might be able to find it on YouTube.
All right,
I'll
so
take a look as well.
let's see what we can find out. That's a good idea. YouTube. Mm-hmm. And you said it's a parrot that recites. Let me see if I can find that. Parrot recite
Do a search for Parrot Speaks Arabic.
Fatiha. Oh, here it is, Surah Fatiha. Ah, this can't be true. What would... No.
No, the one that I found is, if you do a search for Parrot Speaks Arabic.
Oh, parrot speaks Arabic?
Parrot Speaks Arabic.
All right. Now, how many people followed it? How many, let's see. We have, whoops. I think we found something. Parrot Speaks Arabic. Is that the way you saw it?
Yes. It won't be the one that says Al-Fatiha, but he does praise Allah.
All right. There's several. There's a black, an African gray. Then there's a whole lot of them.
Yep. There's a blue front and a conure of some sort.
Okay, but which one do you click on?
I'd click on the first one, the first African gray.
All right, let's do that. We can't hear it. Cuckoo ahead. Whoa, wait a minute.
لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. حبيبي يا الله، حبيبي يا الله، لا إله إلا الله، محمد رسول الله.
طائر الكاسكو من أذكى الطيور الموجودة، وفي معجزة ربنا حطها فيه أنه مقلد الأصوات
ما
بشكل كبير،
شاء الله ما شاء
ومستعد
الله.
يحفظه الإنسان قد ما يقدر.
That's really cool. That I like that. I like that. Thank you for sharing that with us, sister. That is very interesting that a parrot can recite like that. But I think some of our kiddos did a lot better. What do you think?
I think the kids taught the parents as well.
Yeah, I think they did better. Let's find out from yeah. What do you think, Richard?
Oh, I heard some of those kids. They were absolutely magnificent. They were just wonderful, and you know, they were just full of life and energy and understanding the Quran and reciting so well. Not to take anything away from the parrot, but yeah, that was, you know, they the parrot was a little foul actually. So
Whoa! Oh, now wait. Let, we'll give him another chance. Here's another parrot.
Yeah, but the girls were, the guys were just so wonderful. I mean, just it's a blessing that we're in the art to speak.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله، أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله، حي على الصلاة، حي على الفلاح، قد قامت الصلاة. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going for this. This is too much. I'm sorry. I get that. No. I think that's a little bit much. But yeah. Okay. All right. Birds reciting the Quran. I don't know about that.
No, I wouldn't want that bird leading in Juma.
No, I don't. Yeah, we get.
No.
We got enough problem with people calling us bird brains already, right?
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we'll pass on that one. Sister Kim, we appreciate your contribution there, but I think we're going to pass on any more of the bird brain stories.
Okay.
Woo. All right. Well, speaking of bird brains, we got something here from the administration. Oh, no, I'll pass on that one. Actually, usually when we have the doctors with us, I'd like to mention this, but today something come across my desk, and it's actually a little bit of old news. A couple days ago. But it says that the administration, the President of the United States, is putting the pressure on the CDC to come up with a more stringent form of testing for the COVID virus. Now that sounds good, except that he wants to reduce the number of people tested, even if they've been exposed to the coronavirus. He's saying, no. They don't have any of the signs. Don't test them. That's what's going on there, and I was kind of surprised at that. What's your take on that?
Wow, that seems a little. I mean, there's a little bit of a concept there. It's like, well, if we don't test as many people, then we don't have as many people with COVID, and so the numbers look better. But I think people need to be tested if they've been exposed, just so we can know if someone's got COVID, if they need to be quarantined for 14 days or what has to happen. That just needs to be. Testing needs to be available, and we're opening schools now, or kids are going back, and kids come home with a fever or something like that. I think it's incumbent upon the parents to surely get them tested, rather than just sending them back to school and perhaps infecting another couple of people.
Well, yeah, I'm kind of puzzled about this because I did see this. I want to share it with our audience to let them see what I'm seeing. Let's see if we can put that up. And that's, well, it's not really working out for me. I don't know why we have to have these problems with this thing. It works real fine until we start trying to do a broadcast, and then that's when it goes crazy. Alhamdulillah. Anyway, so I'll just tell you what it says. It says the administration, meaning the President of the United States, stirred up confusion and concern by rewriting guidelines for the coronavirus testing. Public health officials fear that the revised guidelines will lead to less testing because, and this is here where it comes in, the president has repeatedly asked for less testing, but the administration is denying that, but he has done that. So there's no press release or announcement going to be made in advance. That's another problem. Instead, the Centers for Disease Control, that's the CDC, and Prevention, are quietly updating their website to reflect what the president has proposed. And that is, if you have not actually exhibited like high temperatures or throwing up or the maximum dizziness or whatever is going on, the signs of the virus itself, then you don't get tested. If you want to be tested, then you're going to go off somewhere to your own doctor and pay money and so on, like that. But the testing will be reserved for the people that actually have the signs, not the ones exposed to the virus. This would eliminate two things: the potential for somebody to have it, but he just doesn't show it yet, so he has to come down with it, so they don't have time to do any kind of elimination of putting him outside of the general public. That means he's not quarantined and he's going around spreading this. And then the other thing is that there are people who carry the virus. They could test positive for it, but then they don't show the signs of it. So those two kinds of cases would not be able to have the testing done. So that's what is in the pipeline. That's coming. It should be, actually, it says that the website should be updated today, as of now. Sister, Kim, what's your take on that?
Well, another thing that it affects is it greatly affects contact tracing, which is when they go through everybody that a sick person has been in contact with to see if they can figure out where they got it. And it also goes out to everybody that the sick person has been in contact with so that they can let them know to be tested. Now we're going to see big gaps in contact tracing, what little the U.S. has done, and it's going to make it even harder for them to figure out where outbreaks are coming from and be able to forewarn people that they might be sick, and they might have people in their household that are very that are immunocompromised, who could get sick very easily, and it's a bad thing all around. One thing that is interesting to note is that this instruction came from Donald Trump's task force, but one person who was not consulted over this is Dr. Anthony Fauci, who was actually going under, he had an operation, so he wasn't there for the meeting. And he's come back and he's said that this is a terrible idea, but they did not confer with him over this at all. The Trump team did it on their own.
Okay. So that appears to me to be something that the president is overriding whatever the CDC director has come up with. The former director of CDC, Tom Frieden, called for a change. Then he said this. He said this. Sorry, he calls this change highly problematic. He said that in a tweet on Twitter. So this.
Let me just throw in there. We have the human nature factor in there. So regardless of what the administration orders, human nature is going to take over. And people who want to get tested, even though they don't have any symptoms, they can walk into the urgent care and I've got coughing and my nose has been running, and they'll get tested. And people who maybe should be tested, they don't want to, they're not going to anyway. So you've got kind of a variable in there that's really going to muck up the whole statistics thing, because if people have been exposed and they're afraid and they're nervous and scared, they can go and fake a symptom. They may not have a fever, but they can say, "Oh man, I've lost my taste," or I got this bad cough.
Yeah, that I read that today. That is one of the signs that somebody could have. If you lost your taste all of a sudden, you don't have the taste or smell, then that's one of the serious signs. Is that right?
Yeah, it is. But people lots of people go into a doctor's office or emergency care and say any number of symptoms to try to, there are people all across the country that walk into a doctor's office saying, "I've got a real bad cough and I need some codeine cough syrup," which means they don't really have a bad cough. They're just trying to get some codeine cough syrup.
I think codeine is a drug, right?
It is a very, very, it's a very strong drug, and people take that cough syrup and they mix it with Sprite or whatever and get a buzz and high off of it. So, people can go into an urgent care and say any number of things and give a test. The people at those testing stations don't have any wherewithal to question whether or not they're saying anything correctly. So they got to take them at their word. How do you test somebody who says my taste buds are all messed up?
Well, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how any of this testing. I'm not a doctor.
So the doctors are just going to go ahead and give them a test. So whatever the president says, human nature, people are going to do what they want to do. That's why we still don't wear masks everywhere.
Well, I guess that is probably true. People do what they want to do, and it's kind of hard to shut that down, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's fascinating. Yeah, that's kind of the human nature. Like, I know better, which is kind of sad.
Well, yeah, I think that we got a problem with that. I think that is a problem.
Yeah. Well, until we get a vaccine, I think America, we're just going to struggle with this, because our nature as Americans is some kind of we just want to be in control and have freedoms and whatever. We're just not going to conform to anything until we get a vaccine and get taken care of that way. My daughter lives in Germany, and their schools are open, everything's well, because the chancellor there at the beginning of March said, everybody wear a mask and it's an order. Everybody stay distance and it's an order, and we're going to have the police enforce that. And as a result, the virus is under control. So, but we're just a free-spirited bunch here in America. We're Yankee Doodle dandies or whatever, or something, and we just kind of want our thing. So we're just going to struggle.
I was trying to find anything that would be on YouTube about this, but there is no, I don't know why there's no mention of it anywhere. That's strange. Let me try another way. President to reduce testing COVID CDC. Let me try it that way. Let's see what pops up. There we go. This is what we found, guys. It says in a stunning reversal, CDC 4 hours ago abruptly changed their position, reducing the country's visibility on virus ahead of the flu season. They say that the new testing guidelines came from the CDC with no intervention or direction from President Donald Trump. Oh, okay. So this is saying that he had nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
All right. This is May 14th. Now that's way too old. That's an old story. We need something from right now. 4 minutes ago. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. This is 4 minutes ago. Top U.S. officials instructed the CDC to change the testing guidelines. There it is. Whoa. All right. New York City's transit agency warned of major cuts to the subway without $12 billion in federal aid. Kenya's president extended a nationwide nightly curfew for another 30 days. University of Southern California, hey, that's where I'm at, reports an alarming increase in cases in the first week of the fall semester, even though classes are almost entirely online. What is happening?
Yeah, University of Notre Dame University, they had the same problem.
Really?
Opened up now. Notre Dame had the same problem. They had to close.
They're closed down?
Well, everything is online.
Okay. Well,
they just tried it, and the kids, it's just hard. There's that human nature factor again. They're going to do what they're going to do. We're freshmen and sophomores, whatever, on college campus. We're going to get together and have fun and have parties, and can't control it.
Well, here's what it says. I'll read it to you. It says, here's what you need to know. The CDC was pressured to change guidance on testing asymptomatic people exposed to the virus. At the Republican convention, masks and social distancing have been largely absent, not there. Whoa. Now that's, and now they want to know why is there an increase in the, yeah. And it says California makes a deal to more than double testing capacity and gets results faster. Well, that's good. The FDA approved a compact virus test that gives results in 15 minutes. Whoa! How about that, sister? Does that sound good?
It sounds expensive is what it sounds like.
Oh, well, I didn't take that into consideration. You're probably right. Okay. Well, all right, let's continue. New York City subway bus service, okay, has been reduced by 40% because of no federal aid. Oh, wow.
Oh, one story that I heard that was kind of under the same umbrella as that is that the airlines are starting to lay off pilots.
What?
Right. Because their coverage under the CARES Act is going to expire, and so they've told pilots, be prepared to be furloughed.
They're going to start laying off the pilots?
Yes. One airline, I'm afraid I don't remember which one it was, but they're going to be laying off 4,000 pilots.
Well, let's pull that up and find out what we got. Here's something, again, with our president mentioning here. It says that the president could act unilaterally to avoid the U.S. layoffs for the airlines, according to the White House themselves. And American Airlines plans to furlough 19,000 in October. And here's an article on the New York Magazine, why airlines are getting ready for huge job cuts. Forbes says 2 major airlines have already announced massive layoffs. Okay. White House is looking at executive action to halt the airline furloughs and layoffs. And here's Al Jazeera. Trump is considering executive action to avoid the U.S. airline layoffs. So, this is all very interesting. Very interesting.
Lots of confusion in Washington in many sectors. That's kind of scary. It was very interesting the other day. The president ordered a boycott of Goodyear tires because the company made a policy that people could not wear hats in the factories, including the Make America Great hats. And so he took offense at that and said, well, I'm just going to ask people to boycott Goodyear tires, which is funny because there's a picture of the presidential limousine out in front of the White House with the president in it and 4 sets of Goodyear tires on his car.
The other thing that's interesting about that is that there's only 2 U.S. tire manufacturers, and Goodyear is the biggest one of them. And so he's basically asking people to boycott an American product.
Whoa, he's going to cut off his nose despite his face.
Whoa. Sister, that's not a good idea, is it?
No, it definitely isn't.
Oh,
Goodyear employs, I think they said 60,000 workers. And a lot of those workers, are in Ohio, which is
mostly in Ohio.
I'm sorry?
Akron, Ohio. That's the headquarters.
Yep.
That's
and
right. Yeah.
a lot of those voters are very important to Trump, and he doesn't want to lose them, which is, a big reason. And a lot of them are supporters of Trump, which is why they were wearing the Make America Great Again hats. Mm-hmm. And so the fact that he's now saying don't buy Goodyear tires is a big blow to American manufacturing.
Well, maybe
a big blow to the electoral college votes that he would get in Ohio, which is good. He's up for grabs on that one.
Well, I guess we could always go to China and get our tires there, but you have to wash them down real good first, right?
Yeah, supposedly.
Alhamdulillah for everything. Hey, let's take a quick break and we'll come right back, okay, guys? Let's do that. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back right after this. Guys, stay tuned. Stay guided with Guidance TV. We'll be right back. We got some more stuff in the news. You don't want to miss it. Stay guided. We've finished the judging and we're going to be announcing it right here on Guidance TV. You don't want to miss that because we have a first prize of $1,000 and the next entries that are chosen will all win $100. But that's not the best part. The best part is we have judges who are willing to help us do better the next time. Yeah. And everybody who signed up and everybody who put their video up there for us to judge, guess what? They're all going to get a beautiful prize. MashaAllah. We have gifts for every single one of all of you. So stay tuned, stay guided with Guidance TV. Yes. And we are back. You're watching Guidance TV. If you just tuned in, This is Almost Live, coming to you from our studios here in Southern California. When I say almost live, it's because when you do call in, I'm asking you to hold your phone up to your ear instead of watching the TV, because that's 60-second delay. All right? So if you'd like to pick up the phone and give us a call right now, that's 1-800-971-4383. Give us a call and join in on the conversation that we're having. We're talking right now with Richard Kiefer in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Is that right?
Ann Arbor, yes.
All right.
I know who Ann is, and I don't know where Ann Arbor is.
All right, mashallah. Yeah, and Sister Kim will be with us in a little while. She has stepped away for a few minutes. But the Goodyear tire situation and the Goodyear blimp, I don't know what about that, but I don't know.
Yeah,
we've got...
That'd be like coming into Michigan and telling everybody to boycott Chrysler, Ford, and General Motors. It's like, that's not a good idea there, President. Those people work. That's their life.
For somebody that's supposed to be helping us get jobs, I don't know about that. What do you think? It doesn't...
I have a very strong opinion, but we'll leave it at that. I'm just amazed that, I mean, even the whole concept of him telling the CDC what to do, he has no medical background, he has no medical experience or training to make those kind of decisions, but it is what it is.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah.
That's true. Let's take a look at what about these tire things. I wanna know if you could put that up there. Let's have a look at that. Let's see what is going on with that.
There's no place like home.
This is gonna be fun.
Let's get this party started.
Isn't this fun? It's just like a sleepover. We should order pizza. Hey, Cosmos.
It's about togetherness, you know what I mean? Join us.
I hate
President Trump
ads.
today joining the cancel culture he and a lot of his fellow Republicans often condemn. Rallying the base, it seems, is more important to the president than consistency. But this flip by tweet is potentially risky. The president is calling for a boycott of a big American company, a company headquartered in a state critical to his re-election. Goodyear makes its home in Akron, Ohio, and the president does not want you to buy Goodyear tires. The company's offense, in the president's view, you can see it here in this photo obtained by CNN affiliate WIBW. Workers are allowed to wear a Black Lives Matter shirt or a hat or a gay pride shirt or hat, but are not allowed, if you look on the right, to wear Make American Great hats or clothing. The controversy spread across the internet at rapid speed on Tuesday. Today, Goodyear Corporate says that image you just saw was not created or distributed by the corporate headquarters, and they insist it is not part of any diversity training class. They do not say where the image came from, but they do say they want their employees to stay away from all forms of political expression in the workplace, meaning no MAGA hats, but also no Biden hats. The Goodyear response came just 1 hour and 13 minutes after the president's boycott message. See it right here. Get better tires for far less, the president says of Goodyear, adding he is borrowing these boycott tactics from the Democrats. Let's get straight to the White House and CNN's Caitlin Collins. Caitlin, the president and his allies often condemn what they call this cancel culture, but today he's all in because he feels offended.
Yes, and the president has always been a contradiction on this by being someone who rails against cancel culture. He just did it at that speech in Mount Rushmore on July 3rd. But this is different because it's an American president going after an American company that is headquartered in a swing state that he's going to want to win this November. And now he's telling people not to buy products of this American company. And it's just something that really makes people wonder because, of course, not only is the president going after this company for what happened at this training session in Kansas, this visual that went viral where the president is now saying that they're claiming that they are banning MAGA hats. But the company, led this company to put out this statement saying that they're not against these statements. They just don't want people making political statements while they're at work. And that's what they were intending to do with that statement, though they said it did not come from Goodyear Corporation. But the president, doesn't seem to care about the details here and is instead encouraging people not to buy these tires, going off on them despite how he and his supporters have gone off on cancel culture for the last several weeks, and especially, or the last several years, but especially during this election year. It's been something that the president has talked about and intends to make a focus of part of his election pitch to voters. But also, there's even more irony here, John, because Goodyear tires are the ones that get the president to and from the places that he goes to.
Whoa.
They are on the Beast. They've been the exclusive tire that is on the presidential limo for several years. You can see them there because they're the ones that are basically bulletproof. You can really do anything to those tires, and they're meant to keep the president safe. But they're also the tires that you see on the cars of the Secret Service vehicles. So it's not just that it's an American president going after this American company after he's someone who rails against cancel culture, but it's also he even uses these tires himself, yet he's telling his own supporters not to buy them.
Yeah, that's that's too much. That is too much. What do you think?
Well, what are you going to do? You're going to go out to Iowa and you're going to tell them to boycott corn. You're going to tell the people in Florida to boycott oranges. Does he want to get any votes at all in November? He's going to alienate everybody.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe somebody's over the rainbow on that one.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, indeed. But one nice thing. There's a kind of a turmoilish kind of election. There's lots of fervor and lots of things going on. But as Muslims, we still give back and can rest in the concept that Allah is the best of planners, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is God, and He is control, and His will is being done, and we're safe and we can rest in Him.
Yeah. Well, that is, actually that's what we are counting on. Our faith is, I think it grows stronger as we see these things take place.
That's for sure.
One thing that we discussed.
Here's Sister Kim. She's back. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Alaikum assalam. Yes, I'm back. I've been here for a couple of minutes now.
All right, go ahead. What do you got?
One thing that we discussed back in 2016 was whether or not it was permissible for Muslims to vote. Because at that time, there were some people that were saying Muslims are not allowed to vote. What's your take on that?
And this is something now, when you ask a question about Islam, all right, that's one thing. But if you ask me about my feelings, that's something else. Okay, so what does Islam say about us voting? In a free election that will determine how things come out for all of the people, and the Muslims are allowed to vote, then they should vote. It's not that they're allowed. No, they are encouraged. They're pushed forward. Tawasso. This is pushing you forward to do what is right. So it is the right thing to do. My own personal feeling is, of course, that it's more important now than ever before for all Americans to vote and have your voice heard. Whether you're for this group or that group, or you're against this group or that group, instead of spending your time on the internet and talking to your friends and foes about what your projection is or what your feelings are. No, I think it's more important to take the effort, the opportunity here to sign up as a voter, register yourself. Now, if you're not eligible to vote, don't do it. If you're not an eligible person to vote, if you're not registered as an American citizen, then you don't have the right to vote, and you shouldn't. That as a Muslim, you know the limits. You will be asked on the Day of Judgment for what you did and what you didn't do. You know that. So do be very careful. No matter how you think, rationalize, this is good for my family, I want this one or that one, I'm going to vote, and you're not really supposed to be voting, don't. Do not do that. Do not encourage other people to do it, and don't support other people who do that. that is the same thing as deceit. And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he warned us about this. He warned us about this. He said, whoever deceives us is not of us. So be careful about that. But if you are eligible to vote, then I think it is your required duty to vote. I think you should vote. If you are eligible to vote as a Muslim, then you should vote. If you're not a Muslim, you still should vote. Everybody should express your feelings, express your knowledge, and let other people, all the people, everybody around you know. If you want to, you don't have to tell anybody, but if you would like to do that, then go ahead. This is a free country.
How about volunteering at polling places?
Well, you know what? Some of the masajid, the mosques, have been used in the past for voting places where you can go in. And actually, that's where I went into the masjid when I was living in Columbus, Ohio. I went in there in the basement, and there were a whole lot of people there. And they were all voting, and so I went in there, and that's where I voted. I liked it. Previously, when I was in Virginia, there was a school that allowed the voting to be there. So we went to that school and we went in and voted there. So wherever you can find a place to vote, I think that's good. But also the Muslims who were there in the masjid were helping, but there were non-Muslims helping as well. So I think it's a good thing to do. But be sure you don't try to influence people to vote one way or the other. Influence them to vote, but don't tell them who to vote for. That's a very important part of Islam too, by the way. Now, you can talk to your friends, your family, and so on, but whenever you're in a position like at the voter's place, then they have a law against that. So you shouldn't break the law. You should not try to get somebody, oh, just pull this button over here. No, don't do that, all right?
Pull buttons.
Well,
that's an old statement. We don't do that. Yeah, boy, that goes way back to pull buttons.
Hey, take it easy on me. You know, keep in mind that I remember using the phone when people used to have to pull the plug out and put it in. The ladies used to work at the phone company and pull the plug. Yeah. That expression, pull the plug, doesn't mean pull the bathroom plug on the sink. It means to pull the plug out so that people can't communicate anymore. Pull the plug.
I'm rather curious if Richard is up to answering the question. What was the Baptist Church's take on getting involved with politics?
You sure you want me to answer this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, obviously, if you're going to keep your tax-exempt status with the federal government, you have to be non-biased in everything. So what they would do, though, instead, would be to provide for the congregation what they call a voter's guide that had both the Democrats and the Republicans or independents or whatever. They were all included in this little voter's guide that they passed out to all the parishioners. And seemingly it was like, well, that should be okay. But the voter's guide just had a twist and a tug and a slant that made the party they didn't like look bad and the party they did like look favorable. And they said, now vote for whoever you want to, but this guy here he's really bad about this one situation. So it was, they kind of danced around it, but and of course nowadays, you know, 4 years ago, so many of the national Christian leaders came out very publicly in support of President Trump. And they basically even made statements like as they were praying, God spoke to them and told them to tell the people to vote Republican. So it kind of gets danced around, but it saddens me to see these people do that.
And I have not had the opportunity to go to a masjid during an election year. Do they do the same things at masjids, or do they tend to avoid politics more?
Where I go, they avoid it like the plague. They will host town hall meetings where they'll bring in all the candidates who want to participate, but they are death on telling you about their position. They are very, very tight in letting you get your own mind.
Richard, you spent more than 40 years as a Baptist minister, as a pastor of the church. Is that true?
Yes, you're right.
All right. Now, I have been informed, and I'm asking you to correct me if this is wrong information. But it's there's a statement, and it's posted here as the Fuller Institute, George Barna and Pastoral Care Incorporated has done some research, and they're telling us that 1 out of every 10 ministers, only 1 out of 10 will actually retire as a minister in some form. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I'm sure. I am sure, because you have guys that just burn out. And sometimes they just get fired.
This same research indicates that over 50% of all of the pastors will not last even 5 years. Is that true?
Oh, that's really true. And if you're a youth director, youth pastor kind of guy, your average is basically a little under a year, according to that same report. You go into a typical church situation, and I remember, you're young, you're green, you're enthusiastic, but you don't know the politics of the church. You've got to know who to speak to, who to snuggle up to, who to schmooze, who to take out for lunch. It's pretty ugly, but if you're going to survive, you have to do that. And I was at a church that had a Friday night bowling league.
A what? Friday night bowling league?
Bowling league, yes.
All right, that sounds good.
It was fun, but I tell you, more church decisions got made at that bowling league night than ever happened in any of the boardroom meetings at the church. Because they just, they're all friends, and they're talking and sharing, and what are you going to vote for? Yeah, we're going to do this. Yeah, let's not do that. And so the decisions were made at the bowling alley. What's going to happen in the deacon board meetings down the trail? But it's very political.
So I guess the thing to do is to learn how to bowl.
Yeah, and learn how to schmooze.
Schmooze.
Yes, and if you're a youth guy, you're just dead on arrival. Because the parents, they kids are kids, and you can raise them all in the same environment and come out all totally different. And if a parent's having trouble with one kid, and they hire Samuel over here to be the youth director, in a sense, they're kind of saying maybe he can make my kid, spiritual again. And if he doesn't, then all of a sudden it's like they start bad mouthing and talking dirty to you. A few weeks later, you're fired.
Whoa!
I had a colleague who moved from Nebraska to the Metro Detroit area. He sold his home with his family. He was the youth director at this church about a month, and they fired him.
Oh.
One of the parents who was influential, who had the money, who made big contributions, in the offering buckets, didn't like him, and they put the pressure on, and he's going.
That's
so
wow. The statistics are provided by the Fuller Institute, and this
research too.
Yeah, this says, I'm going to put it up so everybody can see it, The number one reason that pastors leave the ministry is because church people are not willing to go the same direction and goal of the pastor. Pastors believe God wants them to go in one direction, but the people are not willing to follow or change. Does that sound pretty much like how it is?
Yeah, well, you just put together a committee of people in the church who are going to determine the color of the new carpet in the sanctuary, and you want to see a war break out. I think it should be Berber. No, I don't think it should be this. I think it should be that. Definitely got to be red. No, red looked horrible here. And, you've got all these people who are submitted to the will of God, sort of. And they kind of pick and choose, and all of a sudden it's like, no, I don't like this. I'm going to vote against this, and then I'm going to cause trouble if you don't vote my way. It's very interesting. There's a passage in 2 Corinthians 5:17 that says, "If any man be in Christ, he's a new creature. All things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new." Humans are still humans. And there's a problem with that passage, but people are going to do their thing. I remember hearing one guy talked about the way he gave, and they were talking about whether or not they should have congregational board meetings or open church meetings where they discuss the budgets and all that. And the guy's comment was, "Well, if I'm going to pay, I want to play." Whoa. Whose money is this? Where are you giving it? Are you giving out of a heart of wanting to see the church ministry go? Or you're kind of like, "I'm proud that I give so much money every year to this church, and I'm going to play and I'm going to have influence." I just don't want to get in line with that guy on the day of judgment. I want to stay away from him.
Well, this poll or this report says that 3,500 Christians leave the church every day in the United States. This is the United States. So they're saying 3,500 people per day, not per week, not per Sunday, but per day. And that's, and in case anybody's interested to know, that winds up being over 12 million people a year leaving the Christian church here in the United States.
Yeah, well, I'm familiar with the Southern Baptists.
Yes, of course.
They're the largest.
I'm from Texas, man.
Yeah, you're in Texas, man. You know Southern Baptists. They're the largest Protestant group in America outside the Catholic Church.
Yeah, Catholic Church is number one, but then after that, the Southern Baptists.
Southern Baptists. And their own statistics say 70% of their kids walk away from the church within 2 years after graduating from high school. So that's a huge, and they're not talking about like fringe kids. They're talking about their kids that were church families, members, baptized, active, involved, youth group presidents. 2 years, we're gone.
Well, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Let me see if I can put that up where people can see it. Let's have a look. This says in that report, 70% say that they have a lower self-image now than when they first started, and 70% do not have somebody they call a close friend. Wow. And we're being put under pressure right now to go off the air by our guys, and so we've got to do that right now. So Sister Kim, Jazakallah khair, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you for hosting us.
MashaAllah. And Brother Richard, Jazakallah khair, thank you so much for you being with us. And I think all of us together can say it. Everybody stay tuned and stay guided, with Guidus TV. Yeah, we've finished the judging and we're going to be announcing it right here on Guidus TV. You don't want to miss that. because we have a first prize of $1,000, and the next entries that are chosen will all win $100. But that's not the best part. The best part is we have judges who are willing to help us do better the next time. Yeah. And everybody who signed up and everybody their video up there for us to judge, yeah, guess what? They're all going to get a beautiful prize. MashaAllah. We have gifts for every single one of all of you. So stay tuned, stay guided.